Hi, my name is Riz Pakini. My interest and expertise is in working with community to understand the different needs of men and women we serve and engaging them through a participatory approach and design thinking to create context-responsive solutions. My role is Gender and Community Engagement Coordinator at Tunapandanet Community Network. Tunapandanet is a low-cost community wireless network championed by Tunapanda Institute, whose goal is to build a digital ecosystem with the aim to address digital inequalities for the socially and economically disadvantaged living in Kibera, an informal settlement in Nairobi, Kenya. The network addresses this by focusing on the provision of reliable and affordable access to connectivity, building digital capacities, digital platforms, and the creation of locally relevant content by, with, and for the community. Tunapandanet provides internet connectivity to schools, CBOs, NGOs, community hubs, youth and women groups within the formal settlement of Kibera. We have connected over 40 centers from within 10 villages out of 13 villages in Kibera. We are reaching out currently to about 50,000 individuals. The goal is to support the connectivity of those who are still unconnected and contributing to the meaningful connectivity of those who have yet to benefit from the digital economy. The 5th United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, gender equality, calls for the ending of all discrimination against women and girls. Stating gender equality is not only a human right crucial for sustainable future, but a fundamental human right, and part of this empowerment is inclusion in the digitized world that presents vast opportunities. Community network at the core is the community coming together to create a network that is by them, with them, and for them. Who comprises the community? It is men and women. How can we then apply a gender lens in the design, deployment, and operation of a community network? Number one, recognizing that a community network is made up of men and women, and that women are not a homogeneous group. Therefore, they need tailor-made interventions to cater for their different needs. For example, in Tunapandanet, we use a human-centered design approach and participatory action research model in designing a community network and onboarding the community in extensive consultation with local partners. In deployment, when I hear deployment, automatically a male image up on a mast is the first thing that comes to my mind. I wonder what comes to your mind. This is because for the longest time, technical work has been associated with men. That is why applying a gender lens is important in noticing these gaps and starting to address them at the root cause, which is our attitude, beliefs, and socialization. Early this year, we had the first school of community networks in Kenya, where we gathered community networks across the country and talked about the different pillars of community network. One of the key areas was the network and infrastructure, and part of the objective of the session was to build the confidence of women in deployment and also just appreciation of the role of women in sustaining a community network. It is our responsibility to ensure that instead of technology being a barrier, the internet becomes an enabler for women and even girls in the community. We do this through customizing digital capacity building program to address the different needs of the women in the community. For example, we trained women groups engaging in business in the community, such as selling beads, jewelry, Africa cloth, on how to position themselves online. For example, a woman group that we trained, part of it was how do you take good photos that you can post on the online space, and how can you use how can you diversify the different platforms, not only Facebook, platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, to post this product in a strategic way that will get people to contribute to it. To contribute and also to buy some of these products. We also encourage the women to not only be consumers of the online space, but also contributors. For example, through production of local content with the women. For example, we created podcasts and on the experiences of women offline and online, and how the different spaces affect their lives. We have done videos with teachers on creating content on education that support learners, especially during the pandemic when schools were closed. Some of the partners that we have worked with over time is number one, we have worked with Association for Progressive Communication, who have supported our work through a title, All Women Count, Take Back the Tech, where we were creating interventions to address online gender-based violence. Our main goal was to amplify women's voices online. Another partner that we've worked with is KICTANET, Kenya ICT Action Network, whom we have conducted a study to understand the impact of COVID-19 on the widening gender digital divide in Kibera and the role of community network in supporting the community. Through engaging the women that we interviewed, we had their voices in the diverse perspective of women in the community, and the case study focused on impact of the COVID-19 for women living in Kibera, impact of the digital divide during COVID-19, and how community networks can contribute to supporting women and girls during and post COVID-19. Also worked with Africa Digital Right Fund, ADRF, with support from the collaboration on international ICT policy for East and Southern Africa, CPESA, to promote digital inclusion and advocacy for grassroots women human rights defenders and feminists in Kibera. The main goal was to amplify the voices of grassroots women human rights defenders and feminist groups to ensure they contribute and participate in the online space effectively and safely. We are currently working with other community networks in Kenya in providing training and mentorship on the pillars of community network, and also just to look at how to strengthen the community movement in Kenya. And part of the discussion is around gender inclusion, on how we can involve women in the community in activities of the design, operation, and implementation of a community network. In the different process of community network, given the different areas of operations. For example, in rural areas, we have like community networks such as HeriNet that is in the Lake region. How do they then consider involving women given their terrain, their location? Also, for example, another community network such as Dunia Moja in Kilifi, given the cultures, given the context of Kilifi, how can they engage the women in the different communities? And also, one thing that came out of our engagement was one of the founders of a community network in Kilifi, Twahir, of the Dunia Moja, said that in his community, patriarchy is a huge barrier. For example, when the woman arrives at home, the husband goes through the phone looking for any incriminating information. And if they found something, it propagates problem. And if there is nothing found, it is still a problem, as the man feels that the woman has deleted some information, therefore creating some sort of insecurity when the woman gets at home. So privacy is important to feel safe in interaction with devices and in the online space without fear of being policed on how and when using the device is critical in the establishment of safe spaces, especially for women when engaging online. Kilifi is working with the community network in Kilifi is working with primary schools in the region, as the government has distributed free tablets in the public primary schools. The women are then encouraged to access the schools in gaining digital literacy and using the online space to extend their work and communication. This way, when they're done using the tablet, they leave them behind, therefore, they don't need to carry home anything that will put them in a precarious situation. So some of the lessons that we've learned in the process is the need to engage male partners and also explaining the program community networks benefit for family and the community at large. This is likely to increase support available to women in implementing their plans. In conclusion, the growth and widespread adoption of information and technology, ICT, has elevated the importance of community network, realizing the goal of universal and affordable access to ICTs in our society. At the same time, it has shed light on the digital divide. When community themselves set up network based on their needs and requirements, this ensures safe spaces for interaction with connectivity by bringing about gender equality. This work was carried out in the context of ADRF with support from the Collaboration on International ICT Policy for East and Southern Africa, CPESA. Thank you.